Hey, I'm Kel. Welcome to Kel's Vegan Life. This is my first YouTube video, so today we're going to be talking about aortic dissections. Specifically, my aortic dissection. I'm going to just talk about my story and my experience, and if you have any questions, or if you have had a dissection or someone you know, please leave a comment below and let me know so that we can connect. And I hope this story is maybe helpful to somebody. If not, just putting it out there. So my story starts on July 15 of this year, so we're about 12 weeks and 2 days ago, when I initially had my aortic dissection. I had a type A dissection, and it went all the way through partially of my abdominal aorta and then all the way up through my carotid arteries. So it was pretty extensive, and I had never had any issues with my heart before this. I never really had any cardiac disease or anything like that. The only thing that I had was Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune thyroid disorder. I've had that since I was 14. So when I had my dissection, I was 29 years old. It was just a couple weeks before my 30th birthday, and I was working out in the gym. And that was something that I did pretty often. I did a lot of weightlifting, not anything too heavy, but I did some weightlifting, a lot of cardio, a lot of cycling, running. Never had any issues. So having a dissection was, for most people who have dissections, completely out of nowhere, super unexpected, and it's just been completely life-changing. But I basically had my dissection while doing leg presses. I was leg pressing 100 pounds, which was a lot, but I had done it before, and that's when I felt a tearing sensation in my chest. I started having palpitations. I had a blacked out spot in my vision, and I also felt just very dizzy, very fatigued. I had to lay on the ground. So then the ambulance came, they checked my blood pressure. It was 50s over 30s, so very low blood pressure. But given my age and just the fact that I was working out, the first assumption was that I was dehydrated, which I guess makes sense. So then I went on to the ER, where they tried to figure out what was wrong. My blood pressure was super low, couldn't really find anything, and so they just gave me 3 liters of fluids and sent me home. Yes, they sent me home with an aortic dissection. So they basically completely missed it in the ER, and then just discharged me, and I went home unknowingly with this dissection, went to sleep on my couch, woke up a few hours later, still felt really bad, and so then my husband and I went home with my dissection, fell asleep on the couch, woke up a couple hours later, and then I still felt terrible, obviously. So my husband and I decided to go to a smaller hospital that was connected to the bigger hospital near us, but it was like a little bit easier because my husband knew some of the physicians there, so we were able to have myself directly admitted for observation, which was really nice. So, and thankfully they did, because I was directly admitted for observation, and when I was directly admitted, this was more than 24 hours from the time that I initially had my dissection. So we were already over a day into my dissection, and I still never had chest pain. I had some chest pressure, but really no chest pain, and just kind of had low blood pressure. That was my biggest thing. And so they just kept doing testing. Nobody could figure out what was wrong. So fast forwarding all the way till the very next day. So if we're following, my dissection occurred on a Thursday evening. I don't think I said that, but it did. And then at this point, when they finally did an echo, it was Saturday morning. So this was almost 48 hours after my dissection. So that's when I had an echo, and they saw that I had a dissection, and that's when I was rushed off to surgery. So everything kind of moved really quickly from there. I had my surgery. I ended up needing a mechanical valve placed to replace my aortic valve, and then I needed a coronary artery graft, so essentially a cabbage, and then yeah, that was pretty much it. So my surgery was about 6 hours long, which is a pretty long surgery, longest surgery I've ever had. I've heard some people after dissections, they have 10, 12-hour surgeries. So I consider myself lucky that it was only 6 hours. But it was definitely not an easy surgery. I had some complications, but I was only in the ICU for 2 days, and then I was transitioned down to the step-down unit for 2 days. So I was only in the hospital for a total of 4 days, which was pretty amazing considering that I had a dissection for almost 48 hours and all of the things that I needed fixed in my heart. So yeah, it was pretty much a whirlwind experience. So from there, I then had to kind of figure out the reason why I had a dissection. A lot of dissections occur in the older male population. That's kind of the more typical patient, and usually the hallmark symptom of a dissection is very sharp chest pain. So it's pretty interesting that I was a young female, I had no chest pain, so it's not unusual that it was misdiagnosed initially and that it took so long to figure it out. But I think that we just need to really strive for more awareness of aortic dissections and just kind of promoting that not everybody presents the same, and dissections can be different in everyone. So following my aortic dissection, trying to figure out why I even had one. And I had found out that I did have an aortic aneurysm, which was 5.7 centimeters, and that's what led me to have this dissection. And if you're familiar with aneurysms and dissections, that's a pretty hefty aneurysm, very big. So usually around like the 5.5 centimeter mark is when an aneurysm is very likely to rupture. So I consider myself extremely lucky that it did not rupture, especially given that I had a dissection for that long. So following my surgery, the physical recovery was honestly the easy part, in my opinion, looking back at it. I mean, I definitely had some bumps in the road. I had fevers, I had folliculitis in my underarms. It was pretty disgusting. I was just like having these weird things happen. But looking back, I think the hardest part of recovery is definitely the emotional recovery. The surgery, aortic dissections in general, is very emotionally traumatizing because it's so sudden and it's so unexpected. And so it's completely normal to feel very anxious and even depressed after this surgery, which I definitely have felt many a days since my surgery. So I think it's really important to find a good support group. I found a lot of support, through my friends and family, but also through people who have gone through the same thing. So that's why I wanted to make this YouTube channel, to kind of talk about my experience, kind of build a community here. I've joined a lot of Facebook groups and I've been able to meet really awesome people through there. So I think it's just really helpful to meet other people who have gone through the same or similar experience, and then you can kind of share your stories and see what the similarities are and what the differences are, because there really is such a wide range of what could happen in an aortic dissection. So in terms of what actually caused my dissection, I had genetic testing done, and I do have a genetic mutation in the SMAD3 gene. This is correlated, connected to Louis-Dietz syndrome, if I'm saying that correctly, which is a connective tissue disorder, and it can be connected to that. I still need to do further testing to see if it is that, and then we kind of go from there. Otherwise, it would just be a familial TAAD, which is thoracic aortic aneurysms and dissections. So that just means that I would have some family history, or it could be sporadic TAAD, which is just I'm a random person who had a dissection, which I'm kind of leaning towards because I have no known family history of connective tissue disorders, of aortic aneurysms, of aortic dissections. So it's kind of hard to say at this point, but that's kind of where I'm at in my journey of figuring this out. It's definitely not the news that I expected, not the news that I hoped for, but what can I do? And so trying to turn my lemons into the best lemonade possible by making this YouTube channel and hopefully inspiring other people, or just connecting with other people and kind of having some resource for people. So like I said, if you relate to this story at all, or even if you know someone, have a family member, a friend that has gone through something similar, please reach out, let me know. I'd love to meet every single person. If you are interested in learning more about aortic dissections, I'm hoping to post more videos just regarding aortic dissections. I'm also going to be talking about pharmacy. I'm actually a clinical pharmacist. I work in pediatrics. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the pharmacy side of things with warfarin and mechanical valves. And then I'm also going to be talking a lot about a plant-based diet. I'm also going to be posting plant-based recipes. I actually have an Instagram with some recipes. Shout out Kel's Vegan Life. Follow me on Instagram. But I'll be posting more content of that too if you're interested in a plant-based lifestyle. That's something that I'm really passionate about and I'd love to share with you as well. So if you are interested, please subscribe and comment below. Let me know what you think of my first YouTube video ever, and hope to make many more. I just learned how to upload my videos onto my computer, so millennial gang, let's go. Thank you so much for watching my first video. I hope to see you guys soon, and yeah. All right, bye.